Greetings, everyone. This is Payment Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, I have another wonderful guest, my new dear friend, Stephany from beautiful tropical, well, I'm not sure if it's tropical, but Phoenix, Arizona. Pretty hot, pretty warm. You've had your fair share of warm days there. At least you're not
Yeah.
freezing. And we got connected to our good common friend, Solomon Pratt. We had a beautiful chat earlier this week. And and from the get go, I knew that I had to bring you on the podcast. You've got quite an amazing journey so far. So a little bit about you. You're a person who loves helping other people uh, through their own experiences, and it's always not what they expect. So you worked for 10 years. She worked for 10 years in the health industry, healthcare, as well as in finance, and 18 years in mental health. You have a master's in mental health, and you're all about helping people, especially helping people the way that insurance companies cannot, or rather will not. That's something that I really, resonated with me. And you're doing a lot of good things. 2 years ago, you had your own challenges with mental health, especially when her son went to the military. Salute! Thank you for your service to your son. And ever since then, you've been a dancing queen in the making, a salsa instructor. And the best part, the cherry on the top, was last Thursday. You got the official confirmation from the universe to let go of your work. You got laid off last week, so congratulations on that. And it's time to celebrate. And yeah, we're gonna unpack your story. So welcome,
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you.
very welcome, pleasure of mine. So we're gonna talk about all of that in a moment. But first of all, tell us who's Stephany first and foremost as a woman and as a human being before the business lady.
Yeah. So before the entrepreneurial business lady, Stephany was a mom since the age of 18. Then Stephany became a wife. And since that time, that's all I ever thought I was. Operating in a sense of survival versus out of love, nurturing, and security because I had to take care of my kid. Um, in that, though, I still try to be an example for my kids. You know, they've watched me walk down the aisle, and it's not the typical
Wow.
aisle. It wasn't the aisle that you would think. I made sure that my children saw that you need an education in life. You need to bring value to your community. So, being that I was a young mom, they've seen me get my GED, they've seen me get my bachelor's, and they've both seen me get my master's degree
Wow.
all over the last 10 years. And that was important for me. But my master's, I want to say, I'm sorry, back up. My bachelor's was the most important for me because it was the first time that I walked as an individual person. And I say that because I was either pregnant when I was walking down the first two aisles, or I had my child like with me on my side. But when I got my bachelor's degree, I was able to be just Stephany and being cheered on from the sidelines from my family at that point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. We can unpack all of that. First of all, what I like to do is to start with a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you as a person. Ready?
Sure.
What makes you happy?
Dance.
Oh, what makes you smile?
Seeing other people smile.
Love that. Now, what makes you come alive? What makes your heart sing? And what makes your soul dance and set on fire?
Being able to express myself without fear of judgment.
Love that. Now, on
Mhm.
the other side of the spectrum, what scares you?
Being judged.
Mm, what makes you sad and angry?
The idea of being alone.
I like that.
Mhm.
What is your number one personal superpower?
I can overcome anything.
Oh, you're a
I have.
survivor. Yeah.
And I have. I
Oh, yeah.
have. Yeah.
Isn't that something that we all need to learn? And the fastest we learn, the better it is for us, for all of us.
Yeah. 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 But it's the hardest thing to do because we often think that we don't have the ability to.
I know. Wow, amazing. Now, what what is one thing that you used to value that you don't value anymore?
Ooh. A 9 to 5
Ooh, I
as
love
of
that.
last week.
I love that. I love that. Now, what is one thing that you did not value, but now you're valuing more and more?
um, I could actually say my business.
Mm,
Um, is I wouldn't say that I didn't value it. I didn't see the value, even though I desire to invest time and energy into it.
hmm.
And I think that led back to the fear of I wasn't sure if it was good enough. So I didn't put it as high as my corporate job as I should have.
I can relate with that. Now, you enjoy traveling, don't you?
When I can.
Yes. We can do an entire episode on traveling, but we'll do that another time. But for now, I'd like to take you down a different type of traveling, that down memory line. Go back to when you're growing up as a young child. Remember when you're kids, people around us, family, relatives, neighbors, friends, teachers, always ask us, especially you, hey, Stephany, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer to that question as a young girl?
Even though it's tied to a painful memory, I literally said I wanted to be a professional dancer
Wow.
when I was little. Mhm. But then when that trauma memory happened associated with that, I kind of defaulted to, oh, I'll be a doctor.
Yeah.
I'll be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that answer was a dancer.
Beautiful. Why was that? Was it someone in your family that inspired you, or what was the reason for that?
No, I think, growing up in the 80s, there was, classic movies like Dirty Dancing and Lambada. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
always saw those movies and I'm like, I always used to mimic them in my room. And I knew at that young age that I had a connection to music and how it inspired me. And I always wanted to explore that.
One name came to mind when you were talking, Gloria Estefan.
Ah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
She's so amazing.
yeah, Miami Sound Machine. Yeah.
Dancing the conga.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Now, when you were growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or hate it?
In elementary school, I loved it. In junior high school, I started to find myself and was like, is school really that important? And then in high school, I didn't go. I lost interest
Oh.
because my high school did not have an arts program. They
Mm.
did away with it in the inner city where I grew up. So because I didn't have a way to connect with music, with dance, with the arts, I lost interest. And I can actually say I am a high school dropout,
At what grade did you drop out?
10th grade.
Okay. We're gonna come back to that in a moment. So
Okay.
until you went to school, what was your favorite and least favorite subjects back then?
Least favorite, math, still is to this day. Uh, favorite subject was science
Uh-huh.
and choir.
Oh wow, okay.
Mhm.
So imagine that we're in the same class in grade 9 or 10. What kind of student were you back then? Were you the shy one? Were you the quiet, the nerdy type? Were you the chatterbox, the life of the party, the superstar? What were you
Very
back then?
quiet, very quiet, back of the
Oh,
classroom.
I don't believe you.
No, I was. I'm very, believe it or not, I am very introverted.
Okay.
Very. When I want peace and quiet, I
Mm,
just want peace.
mm.
When I'm out and about, I can be the life of the party. I don't have to drink to have fun. That,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yep, yeah.
Now, when you were in school, were you popular with the boys? Mm,
I was very self-centered and insecure.
okay.
Um, growing up, I was a heavy set child.
Okay.
Being from a Hispanic community, Latin family, every time I yawned, my grandfather thought that I was hungry. So I was always eating. That was a sign of hunger. So
Okay. That's
I was
I
I
can
got
picture
that
that.
habit. Yep, mouth is open, she's hungry, she needs to eat. But again, in Hispanic and culture, food is a way of expressing love.
Absolutely.
So
Don't say that. Yeah.
I was always eating. As before I went to bed, I always had a piece of cake and a can of soda from grandpa, and that made me
Yeah.
gain weight. So then when I became, high school, I always had this idea that I was always the fat girl. Um, and I wasn't very popular with boys. I never tried to talk to boys, none of that.
I see, I see, I see. When did that change?
When I got into dance and
Uh-huh.
I started to lose baby weight,
Oh, okay.
and then the boys started looking at me different. And then I said, well, if you didn't like me while I was big, you're not going to like me while I'm skinny. So I'm just going to be fabulous by myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. What
Yeah.
was your very first job? And do you remember how much you get paid the first time you worked in your life?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So my godfather owned a store that
Hmm.
was very popular in the neighborhood. And I was like the little cashier in the store. I must have been about 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it was $10 an hour.
Ooh.
And to have $10 an hour in the 90s and early 2000s was like you hit the jackpot to make that much money. Right. That was like,
Do
yep, cashier.
you remember what did you buy with your very first paycheck?
I have no, oh God, no.
Did you treat yourself to a restaurant, movie, shoes, nails, hair?
Back back then it was money to hang out with my friends and go to the
Mhm.
corner store and get some chips and soda and we go to the park and hang out.
Yeah. Now, let's move forward from the time you left school to now. How would you
Sure.
describe your path? Would you say once you get into one lane of work, one career, you were set for life, or smooth sailing, or was it more like it turns and twists like a roller coaster?
Um, it really was a roller coaster because I wasn't focusing on a dream job. I was focused on what job was going to pay me the most money for what I qualified for so
Mm,
that I can feed my son. Um, it wasn't until I moved out to Arizona, by the time I had my second son with my current husband, that I fell into mental health. And it was literally, he got the job first. And then he was like, hey, boss, my wife needs a job. Can you hook her up? And that's how I got into the role.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Hmm.
Now, you mentioned through some of your challenges. So we all have our fair share of challenge in life. So when you're at your lowest, the darkest moment of your life, what kept you going? What stopped you from giving up? And how did you
My,
get yourself out of that funk?
it was my son.
Mm.
It was my son. The lowest I want. I mean, at 17, when I found out I was pregnant, um, I was kicked out of the house.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was homeless. Um, and I was just living with friends, living in shelters. At one point, I lived on the street. And it was just, I have to do something. I got on welfare, I got on the government programs. My son now is going to be 22. He can recall when it was just me and him living in the shelter at 5 years old, and he remembers that. So just looking at him and saying he needs a better life.
Mm.
Hmm.
What was the biggest moment for you when you were in that shelter with an infant?
Yeah. I can honestly say I didn't have an aha moment. I didn't have time to
Mm.
have like realizations. Like it's weird. Like when people don't understand what it is to live in survival mode, we don't get aha moments. Sometimes it is day to day, hour by hour. What
Literally.
resource can I get, right?
How
That's
can I
going to help
eat today? How can I feed my
my
son?
kid.
Yeah.
There was one time at one point I couldn't put diapers on him. I was using shirts, old clothing to keep him because I didn't have help. Um,
Wow.
and I think, yeah. And then when we moved into our first apartment, that I looked around and said, "It's not much, but it's mine." I literally said, "We will never go back to a shelter again. I don't care what it is. I don't care what I have to do as a mom."
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from then, talk to us through your path from then to now.
Yep. So obviously, that was from my first husband. Fell in love, didn't work out. Tried again in love with my high school sweetheart. Had another kid. 5 years in, that didn't work out. It just didn't. And again, even though I had a partner, it was still I'm still in survival. I'm taking care of a home. I'm trying to be a wife. I'm trying to do all these things. And the one thing I always remember is that I needed an education.
Mm.
I had to. It's New York, early 90s, 2000s. What am I going to do in New York? How am I going to make it here, right? Type deal. I needed that education. So that's when I had got my GED. That's when I got my associates. That's when I started to work in offices versus retail. And I started learning how to be professional.
Mm.
That took a while. That was definitely different.
Sure. Yeah.
Big thing. And then when that relationship didn't work out, I met my husband, who, which is interesting, grew up with my older sister and knew my family, and I had no idea.
Were you dating?
No,
Okay.
no. My grandmother and his grandmother actually came from Puerto Rico to New York together back in the early
Oh,
60s and 70s. So my grandmother used to babysit his dad and then him. And
wow,
then,
so sweet.
yeah, and then we reunited when I became an adult. And I'm like, I know you from somewhere. And
From
he's like,
past
yeah, I know who
life?
you are. Right. He's like, I saw you when you came home from the hospital. Like that's the funny joke we always have.
Yeah.
And we sparked a relationship in my adult life. And he was in a point in his life where he's like, I want more.
Mm.
And it was the first time that I've heard a partner say something like that to where I'm like, well, so do I. 2 months after that, we got married. And 5 months after, we moved to Arizona and said, let's start over. And we did it. We did it.
And you guys still together happily?
Still together till this
Amen.
day.
Amen.
Still together. Yeah.
So tell me, what makes him different than your previous two husbands?
He actually pushed me
Mm.
beyond my boundary and my comfort level. Yes, he helped me get my first job, but then and there, he was also my coach as well as my partner.
Wow.
And then when it was, I want to advance, I don't just want to be here in the tier. He's like, well, then you need to go back to school. Now, my husband climbed his career until the age of 40 with a GED. I'm
Wow.
like, I can't do that. Like, I'm a woman. I'm from New York. I'm loud. I am not going to be seen as a supervisor. He's like, well, then we need to make you one.
Love
So he stood in the background while I went to school for 4 years. Then I was encouraging him to do it. And he's like, I'm too old. I don't want to do school. Da, 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 da. Okay, fine. Then I'm like, okay, I want to be a director now. I
it.
want to climb that corporate ladder. He's like, well, then you need your master's.
Oh,
And
wow.
he sat in the sideline and he encouraged me to get my master's. And then I said, okay, no more waiting. It's your turn. And then my husband went and got his 4-year degree in what I got my master's in. And now he is CEO track and
Whoa.
in his career. And
Goosebumps.
all he needed was that piece of paper. And when I
Yeah.
tell you, not only did my kids watch me walk down the aisle, but then they saw him do it as well. And even though my husband is not their biological father, he adopted them
Beautiful.
6 years ago because they asked. And that's how we structured our family ever since. It's based in success. A man takes care of his wife by supporting her. It's not this power struggle all the
No,
time.
absolutely not.
And that's what made him different than the other men that I've been with. And I think even though we've only known each other for 2 months, it's 15 going on 16 years of marriage because of that structure.
Wow. That reminds me of a powerful quote I saw the other day that said the best relationships are when the two people push each other to become the best version of themselves. You know, it's not me. I need to be better. No, I'm not better than you. You can't be better than me. No, no. Let's all become better than our previous versions. Let's all become, both
Exactly.
of us become the best version that we can possibly be.
Exactly. And I think that another saying that I have in our marriage that I've always taught him, I'm not the woman that you met 15, 16 years ago.
Thank
And I
God.
think that's right, right. But that's why marriages don't last as long as they have, because people don't understand that change, that growth that happens with individuals as time passes. So when they say, I want the man that I married, such and such, no, you don't. You don't want that person because they have nothing to offer you back then. Look at the life you have now. And it's just a weird concept to see change and how people are so afraid of it, but they can't avoid it.
Beautiful. That reminds me of another powerful saying that I saw the other day that says, there's a river, you stare at it, you see it every day, but you can never see the same river, not day to day, but even every minute it's a different river
Yeah,
because the
the way.
water flow always changes. Same
Yep.
thing with us people. And a big mistake that we all make is that we fall in love with a version that we imagine of the person, not what
Mm,
they are and what do they become. Just like you said, you're not the person I was 15 years ago. And I said, I jumped and I said, thank God, because of course I want to see you and me both progress forward, not remain in the same place. Or,
right.
or God forbid, going backwards. No. We want both to go forward together, hand in hand.
Hmm.
You know?
Hmm.
So wow, beautiful. Now, so you mentioned that you get kicked out of family. Now that you have this beautiful family, beautiful education, are you back in good terms with the family now?
Family has either passed on
Okay.
or we are just on mutual terms.
Hmm.
To say it politely, I live 3,000 miles away from my biological family. I have gone back to visit, and it's hi, how are you? Wonderful life. And then it's I can't wait to get back home.
Mm,
And I think a lot of that has to do with environment, because you know how you grow up someplace and you think sometimes it's the best place in the world, this is home. And then you leave it and realize that there's more to life than the 5, 6 blocks that you've grown up in.
absolutely.
And to be successful and to go back home and to see other people that are still in that, and they're like, when are you coming home? Never. I'm happy where I am.
Speaking my language, because, and even though I love my family and my friends here, I left Canada a long time ago. When I come back here, people are still going to the same places, talking about the same places. I live a different life than them, different world, literally. Where it's especially once you have a business and you have an environment that you're always on the go, always traveling. And we have not much to in common anymore. The people that I grew up with, because they still remain. And again, I'm not here to judge. More power to them. I love them, but we've grown apart. We're different people, you know, and that's perfectly okay, perfectly understandable. But I've been here in Canada for 3 weeks, and I swear to you, after a week, I was bored. I couldn't wait to go back home, back to Asia,
Yeah,
because it's a different environment, different mentality.
big time. I grew up in a building that was 16 stories high,
Okay.
and it was based in government assistance. And my family had a 4 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment
Oh, I
on the
can
first.
relate to that. No, okay, come on, hurry up, especially in the mornings.
Right. And we had come out to Arizona. We were here for 5 years. So for Mother's Day, my husband said, I'm going to surprise you. We're going back home. So excited. I couldn't wait to go back to New York. I got there, got off the train, and took a whiff of the air. After 2 days, I'm like, I want to go home. I want my house. I want my pool. I want my car. After that, I became the bougiest person in the world. All of a sudden, I'm too good for it. And I'm like, it's
Yep.
not that I'm too good for it. It's just I know different. I know better. And I'm comfortable in what I know that is different. And I'm happy there.
And I worked hard to achieve the life I always wanted.
Oh, oh yeah.
Especially
In
coming
just
from,
5 years.
especially coming from where you came from, literally on a shelter. not even having diaper for your son, to now living in a beautiful house with a pool, with a man of
Right.
your dream, all that. All of these did not fall from the sky. You had to work, as we say in French, you had to literally eat shit for years to get there.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And it's not, and you know what? I'm a firm believer, I'm religious as well. And I don't believe that God just gives you what you ask for. What he will do is present you with the opportunity, and it's your responsibility to go after it because, again, we have free will. So
So
if he's saying, here's this man who you asked to have in your life, because I asked God for that, and my husband just showed up. And
beautiful.
I've led with that whole time. So to think about moving back to New York, it's like, okay, so then what is the opportunity that's there? You know, when my husband talks about moving to another place, I still have that fear of what if we lost it all? Could I start over in a new place? So yes, we can retire in this place, but what opportunity could potentially be there if we needed it one day? And I've always led with that. You know, God has to present at all times. He must be present.
Amen. Absolutely. When
Mhm.
you're talking your story, especially when you said, "Oh, absolutely, you have," when you were literally coming alive, speaking from the heart, I was having goosebumps because I can so much relate with that.
Yeah.
You know. So wow, beautiful. Now you mentioned that you had about 2 years ago when your son went into the military. That was a tough time for you. Tell us about that.
So all of my life without my youngest, it was all about me and my oldest son. You know, because I had him so young, a lot of people say my son is more like my friend than my son because we grew up together pretty
Yes,
much.
literally.
I literally 18 years older than my oldest. So natural, I didn't know how to be a mom. I just felt that I had to be. So we went from, you know, being secure to being in a shelter to growing to the paths that I've led with him. And then one day he says, I want to join the military. My husband, all for it. Let's go, son. So proud. And I'm like, I don't know. It's my son. Now, my oldest, his personality, he is gun ho, run to the front lines, risk taker, jumping out of planes. That's him. My little one, gentle, calm, nurture. He's more like me. So here's my son leaving, even though we had like 4 or 5 parties for his going away. The night before he leaves, we have a big party. And we wake up in the morning and it still hasn't clicked. We drive him to the recruiter's office with his bag and we leave him there. And I just look at my son and it's still not clicking that I'm not going to see him again. So we get home, I break down, and then I'm like, I'll just talk to him tomorrow. Come to find out, I couldn't talk to my son for 3 months,
Wow.
zero contact because of the training and the civilian breaking mentality that had to happen in that process with him.
So no access
Just
to phone, social media, nothing.
absolutely nothing. So what had happened was because my mother died tragically when I was 17, I had that in me that I didn't know how to process loss appropriately. And for me, it was like from one day to the next, all of a sudden it was like just like mommy, he's gone. So I literally told myself my son had died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it hit me that bad.
So would
And
the command center at least update you once a week, say your son is okay?
nope,
Wow.
nothing,
That's an awful
nothing.
place to be as a parent.
Yeah, and because my husband went through it, he was like, "Honey, this is normal. This happens." And
Mhm.
people were telling me, and I'm like, "Whatever. Not my son. My son is gonna find a way to call me. He's gonna text me
Yeah.
everything. Nothing." So
Wow.
for me, that's death. I didn't know where he was. I didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
So when it got to the point where I said he had died, I sunk into such a depression where I lost all sense of feeling. I was a robot. I went to work, I came home, and that's all I did. Um, And then one day, out of the blue, I just get a FaceTime over the weekend because he had finished his initial training. And when I answered the phone and I see him, all of a sudden, I just woke up. But then it became talking from, every day to now 3 months, no contact, to now once a week. So I still couldn't be with my child. I still didn't know when he was coming home. So it was almost like I get to talk to him and then they take him away from me all over again, like a spirit coming to visit me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. So that was what sparked my depression and sent me into a mental spiral to where I had to get on medication. I tried seeing a therapist,
Mhm.
and as someone who worked in mental health, I could literally say therapy doesn't work for me
Mm.
because therapy wants to always bring up the past. I have an issue right now. I need this worked right now. I don't care about where this is coming from. I want my baby.
Mm.
And the therapists weren't focused on that. They were like, well, let's focus on your abandonment issues and the trauma with your mom. No, because my mom is long gone. I know where my mom is. I
Yeah.
don't know where my son is. And I need help processing that. They didn't want to hear it. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to document how I feel, journal, whatever I have to do, coping skills, and I'm going to use coaching techniques. I'll use the medication because the depression was coming from a chemical imbalance in my brain that needed to be readjusted. So I was literally on anxiety and depression medication for an entire year in order to have my brain do a reset so that I no longer fell into that.
Wow. While you're sharing this very touching phase of your life, an idea popped into my head, and I'll
Mhm.
share that with you is that, as I always say, your crap is your gold, meaning what you go through becomes your gift. So what you went through for months at a time, to the point that no contact with his son, even going as far as believing as if God forbid he had died, but then eventually came back and you reconnect with them, you went to depression. The idea that popped into my mind is that could be an amazingly impactful and wildly profitable business for you to help other moms where their sons are going through in the first few months, few weeks of military enlistment, to help them cope with that, prepare them. See what I
Mhm.
mean? That could be an
Mhm.
amazing business for you. Because again, the best business to build is the one that you successfully overcame, and simply helping the person are just a few steps behind you.
Mhm.
Other moms are going through it. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm?
Oh, yes, I would. Any mom, and even without you even saying that, I've always said if anybody needs to talk to me, every mom that I've encountered about that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here because again, I have my own. It may not be the same experience, but I know the feeling of that loss of a child, in that sense, the emptiness. So I would love to help as many moms as I can in that situation.
So there you go. Just sharing that, so to plant the seed in your mind. This is what I love,
Yeah.
planting seeds. I'm a farmer of possibilities, of ideas. Oh, that's a pretty good. I need to write this down. I'm a
You
farmer.
need to write that down.
Anyways, awesome, awesome. And then you said that another thing that really stood out when you mentioned it is you love helping people the way that the insurance companies can't and won't. Tell us more about that.
So, um, insurance companies, bottom line, are interested in that bottom dollar. What can they profit on?
Oh, yes.
Um, but then they want to say, well, how can we keep people healthier? And let's develop all these programs to keep people out of the hospitals and all these things, right? But what health insurances fail to look at is the actual individual. So, yes, while I was going through my stint of depression, yeah, there was medication involved, which is an insurance thing, right? But what wasn't getting addressed was how was I processing all of this spiritually? Again, I experienced grief, death, loss. There was no one out there to talk to me about that personal experience that's within me that makes me Stefany. I
Mm.
have my own spiritual belief. Um, when they were talking about, wanting to help me about my trauma, they wanted to talk about past relationships. No, let's focus on the relationship that I have with my son now. Why am I so dependent on my son? What is that about? Do I have a strong relationship with my other son, with my husband? Looking at it relationally to say, am I going to be missing something? Or then am I going to take that negative thought and transfer it to my other family members to then where I'm going to feel like death is an option for me? So again, relationships, stabilization in my job, knowing what the insurances will and will not cover. For me to help people, it's like I need to see you the way the insurance company doesn't. I need to know who you are as a person. And it's 2025. And even though insurances will say we value holistic and we want to know about your culture and we want to know this, they really don't.
No.
They really don't. Because again, home remedies, again, Hispanic, Vicks fix everything.
Yeah.
you know, 7 Up and Sprite. She has a cold. She has the hiccups. Put a string on her forehead. you know,
Grandma's secret soup or whatever, you know?
I mean, right, menudo for when a hangover. No, they don't value what
Mm.
makes people people. And through, with the coaching that I've been, developing, it is just that. Who are you?
Mm.
What makes you you? Why do you feel the way that you do based on the process in your thought process? What put that there? And why does it affect you so deeply now? So when I look at healthcare as a whole, do I believe in it? Can it help? To an extent. But it's for the moment. It's not a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's so sad.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can say a lot about that, but I don't want to get into that because it would piss me off to no end. 20 years ago, I worked for an insurance company, and that opened my eyes big time. I was working for the claim department of a big insurance company here in Canada, and all they were doing was looking for any way possible not to pay.
Yes.
And that really infuriated me. And eventually I was let go, and I promised myself never work again for an insurance company. Even when I was looking for a job, I was telling the person who was in charge, my recruiter, hey, I don't want to work for insurance companies.
You know what the interesting thing with insurance companies, like if you get sick and you go to the doctor, if you don't describe your sickness in a specific language that is approved by the insurance company, that your doctor or your provider, whoever, can document on a piece of paper the exact same way how you feel, the insurance company goes off what your doctor says, not what you say.
Hmm.
So the reason why we get medical bills is because the person you told can't relay the message clearly and effectively to continue that payment. And it's sickening. So sickening.
Oh, big time. It's the biggest daylight robbery and racket out there.
It is. And and that's why we have so many coaches. This is why we have our own health programs. This is why sometimes we just say, what did grandma do?
Yeah. When people ask me as an expert, what's your medical coverage? I say my medical coverage is in the morning two sets of 50 push-ups, two sets of 60 sit-ups, 10,000 steps, and 2 hours of intensive pickleball and swimming in the ocean. That's my medical coverage,
Mhm.
you know? And so you don't have an actual medical coverage. So, well, as long as you take care of yourself and you eat clean, I stop drinking, I don't smoke, except maybe once a month a cigar, you're good.
Yeah. It was interesting this morning. I was thinking about our session together, and I was feeling really down because again, I'm still going through my transition.
Mhm.
And I posted this morning. I'm like, even though I don't want to get out of bed, I have to. I have to. And instead of driving to the gym, I walked 30-minute walk. And I'm like, you know what? Payment does 10,000 steps. Let me see if I can try that. So
Really? Holy
I
smoke.
did. I
Wow.
literally did. I did my 30-minute walk in this Arizona heat,
Oh,
went to the gym, did an hour of weight training, and did 30-minute walk back. And I said, you know what? I feel better because I released those endorphins myself. And I couldn't wait to tell you because I'm like, I know he's going to say something about his 10,000 steps.
salute
So I
to
was
you,
so
my
proud.
sister. You're not just a survivor, you're a champion.
Have to. Have to.
Not only for you and your kids, but you know what? When I always tell my students, my clients, yes, I'm cheering for you. Your family's cheering for you. God is cheering for you. But the most important people cheering for you are your future clients. They're just waiting on the sidelines, waiting for you, desperately needing you. And they say, come on, Stephany, come on, payment. Stop getting in the way. Stop overthinking. We need you.
Yes.
Get off your lazy ass. We need you.
Right. But before they can, they have to see that I'll get off my lazy ass and I have to be there with them. Nobody wants a coach that's not going to walk the journey with them.
Absolutely.
You
Wow.
have to. You got to.
You're a firecracker. I'm getting goosebumps. Love that. Love that. Love that. Awesome. Now, you mentioned your transition. By transition, I mean last week you were let go of your job. So tell us about that. What was your mental state when you heard the news, and how has it been for you, and how are you coping with it?
Ooh, mental state in the moment was shock because I literally just got back from a 2-week vacation, and was let go 2 days after I got back with no warning, no anything.
Oh yeah.
Um, so again, you go through that process of what did I do wrong? Just like any relationship, what did I do that was so bad that caused that issue? I
Especially all
didn't
the
have time
time.
to
Yeah.
process. Yeah, I didn't have time to process. So again, trauma response. I clicked back into survival mode, and I'm like, okay, I have my last check. What am I going to do with my last check? Well, I have a business. Let me invest in my business. I went and got a dance floor that I'm building. I'm selling my exercise equipment. I bought a tripod. I bought one of those glow rings, and I'm fired. I'm going to more dance classes. Um, I started, and what was interesting is that I put up a post on Facebook saying, "Listen, if anybody has any resources, because I've made connections throughout the years." So I went on Facebook. I relied on my network, and some people have come back with leads. Some people have like, hey, I want to book sessions with you. So I have received a resource and a support every day since last Thursday that I'm very grateful for. Um, Still worried about monetizing, but having that connection with you and learning one step at a time, it's okay. It's going to be fine. I'm telling myself that every day because now again, this is going to be an experience that I'm going to be helping somebody else with. So now I'm able to have more clarity in this time around and saying, I have to experience this. I have to go through it. So the acceptance is now here.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah.
trailblaze your own path and then leave the person, the Stephany of just a few steps ago behind you. That's your job.
Right. Right. I'm just one dance away from a new
Oh,
beginning.
I love that. Where did you hear that from? Where did you hear that?
I wonder who put that out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The universe. Yeah.
The universe, but it is now on my website. It is there.
Oh, I love that.
Every piece of information, I'm just thanking God that is being put in front of me. The opportunity. Have I've had some financial benefit, but not big. But I'm still grateful. Again, it's leading to something.
Yes. Be grateful for the first $50, $100, even $5 you get, because if you can be grateful for those first few dollars, then you're opening up yourself to more of those and bigger of those.
Yes. Yes, and little by little every day it is happening. I am 2 books away from publishing my entire series because now I have time to dedicate to that.
Yeah, just one dance
Literally.
away, one chapter away, one line away, one conversation away.
Yeah, it's everything you've said so far has been right. I will
Well,
admit
I'm
that.
glad to hear that. But you know what? It takes two to tango to dance. You're actually putting it to work. Like for example,
Yes,
you can just like the second, you can take the horse to the water, but you cannot drink for the horse. The horse has
right.
to drink it. So you actually implement that. So give yourself credit, give yourself kudos because you made it happen. And not a lot of people will do that. So congratulations. Well done. Well done. Well, exactly. 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 Whereas, let me give you some virtual claps. And
That's
so
cute.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Now, tell us about your business, the business that you're building.
Yes. So it's actually three types of businesses in one.
Okay.
So the first thing is going to be the life coaching, first and foremost. And that is the focus on the seven dimensions of mental health. Those were seven things that I found that makes a person a person. Where whether it's spiritual, emotional, educational, financial, every person desires success in one area of their life or another. So through everything that I know in psychology and counseling, modalities with cognitive behavioral therapy and things like that, I have found a way to simplify how treatment can be rendered to those individuals in real time. So that is actually coaching, not necessarily therapy. And it explains how to achieve success in that.
Beautiful.
Mhm. Then the second set would be, you can look at it as a physical aspect, but I look at it as a therapeutic outlet, which is for me salsa dancing or just dancing in general.
Wow.
And the way that that came about was, if you remember when I mentioned that I was on medication for a year, when I had expressed to my psychiatrist that I did not want to be on medication long term, she had said then I needed to find a coping skill that was going to allow me to produce those endorphins naturally.
Mm,
And as long as I found purpose in something outside of my family, outside of my son, then she would take me off meds.
beautiful.
And some people will call it a cross addiction, but I dove headfirst into dance. And I was in dance for 6 months consistently while weaning off of my medication.
Wow.
And after 6 months, I was taken off 100%. And then 2.5 years later, I have not been back on my depression and anxiety medication. I have been dancing 5, 6 days a week in the studio, sometimes up to 5 hours a day,
5 days a week.
5 to 6 days a week because
What's
of all
wrong
the
with you? You're slacking. You should be on that and that stage at 10 days a week. Come on,
well,
sister.
well, remember I had a day job. So
You
now that
already
I
did
don't have
that,
a day
almost.
job,
No excuses.
now I have no excuses.
I want to see you
Um,
not 10 days, but 20 days a week now.
we will make it happen.
Good.
So, as a blessing from that, a year into me being a student, I was actually offered to be an instructor for the
Wow.
school after a year. And then that's how I started teaching dance.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then from that, I also own a travel business on the
Oh,
side with my husband that it is not tied to things like Expedia or anything like that. We have our own system on the back end where we actually get discounts for resorts and villas and planes and all these and yachts and things like that. And we sell those discounts to people that are interested in travel. So the way I incorporate that in my business is to literally, I want to remove people from this where they are environmentally, have them explore a new place while experiencing my coaching program, and do things like dance and yoga and fitness all in a whole new environment.
so
So it
dancing,
creates an entire experience.
dancing the way to a new world, to a new life. That
Exactly.
could be your motto, dancing your way to a new world, new life.
Yeah, so it's three businesses wrapped in one.
Love that, love that, love that. Wow, powerful. Love that. You mentioned your travel business. Wh-
Mhm.
My very first online business that actually made money was also a travel business. Back in 2008, where I was promoting and selling a travel membership, which gave up to 90% discounts on over 5,000 resorts to people around the world. Is that something similar to you?
Something similar. Yeah, we actually pay for a site that has all of those discounts, and then I just sell my discount.
What is it called?
We were with Laguna Shores.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's who we're affiliated with.
The business that I was with back then, I'm talking 2008, 2012, was operating on the Global Resorts Network, GRN. And the back office with another powerhouse that was a provider. Forgot what was the name of it. Forgot the name, but it was they were based out of Orlando, Florida, like a
Mm.
massive, massive, massive company that they were buying hundreds of thousands of inventory from all the resorts from around the world. And it was a beautiful business because I used it myself. Like I was
Mhm.
able to experience Carnival and Rio.
Oh,
During that time, oceanfront hotel is literally $1,000 a night. I was
right.
able to book a hotel, four-star hotel on Copacabana Avenue in Rio. It was $1,100 a night. I got the entire week for $650. And
Yeah, it's just like that.
I used it again in Thailand. I was able to get a beautiful two-bedroom condo that you could only get access to if you had a timeshare. And that was a two-bedroom. The one bit when I went to that resort, I invited one of my cousins. The owner asked me, "So how much did you pay for this timeshare?" I said, "I don't have any timeshare. I just get it to my membership." So what membership? And he said, "Listen." I asked him, "How much is it to buy a unit here?" He said, "Well, the timeshare even for one bedroom is going to be $30,000. 2,000. The two-bedroom is completely sold out." And he could not believe that I was able to get the entire week for only $550. He said, "That's impossible." I said, "Well, I'm telling you the truth. I don't have to prove anything. That's why how much I paid."
Right,
So this is
right.
what I was doing to people. It was a beautiful business. And that was the first business that actually made money for me.
That was the whole concept when we were presented with that idea.
But then eventually the company get a little bit too greedy. They started to raise the prices. Back then the membership was only $3,000. You were selling it like this. But then they raised it to five, 10, eventually $20,000. That's when the business just died because they wanted to compete with timeshares. Yes, compared to timeshares, a much better value, but at $20,000, it's a big ask. Whereas at 3,000 is a no-brainer.
Right.
So, anyways, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. Cool. Now, what's getting you out of bed in the morning now that you don't have a boss anymore? You don't have to be present at 9 o'clock somewhere. What's fueling you?
Building this business to
Mm.
its fullest potential.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Getting my books done, getting my marketing, making the right connections in the community. I'm not going to be able to travel to do my events like I was doing before.
Not
Right.
yet. Keyword
Not
being
yet.
yet.
Not yet. I literally just came back from New York and Miami from doing a showcase.
There you go.
Um, but I just have to, again, I have to focus. I have to realign. I have to build. And now
Mhm.
that I have the time to build, that's what's exciting me now.
How supportive is your husband?
Extremely. In all honesty, he has already taken on another job.
Oh, wow.
From one day to the next, he went and got himself another job.
Beautiful. How important is it for you to have a husband that not only is on board, but fully, fully, fully supports you, and not just in words, but actually in action?
Very, very important. Whether he's my husband or not, I fully believe that we can't get anywhere in life without connections, without having people next to us that we can trust. My husband is not just my husband, he is my friend. He is someone who knows me, at my worst and still accepts me.
Not just your friend, but your best friend.
Best is my bestie.
Exactly. Wow.
and
Amazing.
and that wasn't easy, you know. A lot of the times people in relationships, they can't separate husband and wife from friend, best friend, partner. And I'm very fortunate to have someone that is both. Very fortunate.
Speaking of that, since you've gone to your fair share of marriages, What's the number one tip you would give to a couple, whether they're married or not, that's going to give them the best shot at making it work? What's the one non-negotiable that they must have to make the relationship successful?
Communication. Communication. You,
Yeah.
you you both have to realize that you are both individuals before
Mhm.
your marriage, during your marriage, and in some cases after your marriage. If you want people to know you, if you want people to understand you, not only do you need to learn how to speak, but you need to also learn how to listen, and you need to understand how others listen. It's emotional intelligence all the way.
That's why God gave us two ears and one mouth, so we can listen twice as much and to speak.
Hmm. Yep,
Awesome.
communication.
Awesome. 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 Listen, I love what you're doing. I love your passion. I can't wait to do a part two in a few weeks, few months to see how far you've come, especially once you'll have your own profitable podcast soon. Wink, wink, wink. You know,
Yes.
and dancing your way to the new chapter and helping other people just to one conversation, one dance away from whatever they want. So, but let's wrap things up for now.
Sure.
Finish, I'd like to ask you another series of rapid fire questions, this time on advices. Ready?
Okay.
What's the best piece of advice you've received so far?
Get out of my own head.
Oh, I love that. And the worst advice so far?
You don't have time for this. You need to find another job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Imagine that you're blessed with a time machine and you can go back and sit face to face with the 18-year-old Stephany. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to her knowing all that you know now?
Oh, you have to go through what you're going to go through
Mm-hmm.
and just know it's going to be okay and you are not alone.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Is that an advice that you wished you had heard or given when you were at your lowest, when you were 18?
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
Because at that time, again, you're not looking at the future, you're looking at the now.
yeah.
So a lot of people
Absolutely.
don't see that there is a future ahead.
Yes. A lot of us still do that to this day because we cannot see just beyond the tip of our nose.
But we can't prevent what we're going to go through. So we might as well just put on our bootstraps and go through it.
Absolutely. With a smile and dancing, even better if you can go through it while dancing.
If you can.
Yeah. Well, we have to dance through life's obstacles. We have to dance through that anyways. No
Yes.
choice.
No choice.
Yeah. You don't have your podcast yet, but you will have your podcast soon. Imagine that a year from now, you have a very successful podcast, and a year from today, you will be interviewing the most special person in the world, and that is yourself. What's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. First question that comes to mind.
So how was it?
Oh, and what's your
How
answer?
was how
What's your
was the
answer?
journey? How
What's
was
your
it?
answer, genius?
The answer would literally be it was shitty. It was horrible. But it was the best experience of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, I had my fair share of literally eating shit, but I would not change anything. You know, my
Right.
story living on $20 a week, crashing on couches for almost over a year, but I would not change it because that's made me who I am now. Those are the
Exactly.
beautiful gifts. Just like when you were at that shelter, not even being able to afford diapers for your son. Yes, it was shitty, as you said, but would you change that?
And that if I could, yeah, but I I I wouldn't. I wouldn't because I know what it's like to have absolutely nothing. And when you realize what true nothing is, what else is there to lose? The only
Yeah.
way you can go is achieve and get more.
Because once you've experienced both sides of the spectrum, literally, like I said, having nothing, in my case, living on $20 a week, and then on the other side, making thousands a day, then you become grounded. You understand, you value things. You don't take things for granted, especially money or even more than money, people, impact, helping, inspiring. You don't take that for granted.
No. And I think the funniest thing someone has told me, even when I had my six-figure income in corporate America, they told me I have a poverty palate.
Oh,
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, you make all this money. Why don't you go to fancy restaurants? Why don't you? And I'm like, because I still enjoy a cheeseburger from
yeah.
McDonald's and some chicken fingers. What's wrong with eating? I'm not eating to enjoy. I'm eating because I'm hungry and I have a need. I have other things I can spend my money on. And then I'll go to Jamaica and have fish from the ocean when I feel like it, you
And there's
know?
no need to spend money to impress people you don't care on things you
Right,
don't need. What's the saying? Yeah. I don't need to be a bougie. Hey, you just leave the way it makes you happy. Just like you said, you love your McDonald's. I love my Burger Kings or my burritos, you know?
right. Right. Value. It's where we place our value.
You don't have to spend $250 each for each meal. No,
Right.
just be you and never forget where you come from.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Now, the last question I ask all my guests, and that's my favorite question to ask, and that is, what's this one thing, the smallest thing you've done in your life that has had the biggest, deepest, most profound positive impact in both your life and your business? For example, for me, has been this starting my podcast. What about you, Stephany?
Writing my first book
Ooh, and why is that?
because it set the tone for the rest of the books that came after. And it set the stage of what I wanted my focus to be in
Mm.
this book.
Speaking of that, we haven't even talked about your books. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so there's like eight, there's about eight of them.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
there's eight of them because it's a series. So the very first book is called The Wealthy Life, and it's available right now on Amazon. And with The Wealthy Life, it talks about all seven dimensions and breaks down why each dimension is important for someone in order to achieve fullness in their being, their environment, their mentality. When studying psychology, I am a Maslow person. So I believe in the hierarchy of need. And that's where this was stemming from. So when you read The Wealthy Life, it is all about, well, if I want to be successful in relationships, how do I build a healthy relationship that involves communication, dedicating time, learning other people? If I want to build a finances, how do I save money? What does that look like? Where am I spending now that doesn't bring value to my life? If I want mental wellness, what are those things that bring me down? What are those beliefs that I have? Do I need to seek professional help? Do I not? So it literally goes into depth about why we think the way we do, how we think, and then how we can gain control and change them.
Beautiful. So you said you have all the eight books.
I have eight right now. I am down two, which will be done by Friday.
Holy smoke.
I am doing a book a day, and it's all about the editing because they're all written. But because I didn't have time, I couldn't finish my self-publishing. So I am finishing all of the editing. I am adding my pictures, making sure they look neat, and I am self-publishing on Amazon. And because of all the groundwork that's been done, I uploaded one this morning on finance, and it was already approved, and it's already up and ready to go.
Did you say you're creating one book a day?
Yeah, I am finalizing each book every day. I
That
am
must be
dedicating 5 hours
that
to
must be
finish.
a world record. Well done.
Yeah, they like I said, they've been written. It's just editing.
Wow. That's
I have really I have really bad ADHD, so when I get laser focused on something, I focus, and the job I don't feel accomplished until it's done.
that's an amazing quality to have.
It took years.
Can I get a piece of that, please?
I'm here. Listen, I'm a coach. I got you. That's what
There
I
you go.
do.
All right. That's beautiful. Wow. Now that's
Yeah.
amazing. Wow. Awesome. 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 If someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yes. So I am on Instagram and I am on Facebook. You can just look up my name, Stephany Molina-Gerena, and you will see my name pop up. If even if you Google my name, my Instagram, my website will come up. If anyone wants to reach out, my phone number, they can either look through the links on this podcast, or they can have my number if they just DM me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Stephany, absolute pleasure. I'm really delighted that we connected. Love your passion, love what you're doing. I'm cheering for you. I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world. Your presence, your wonderful smile, your dancing, and all that. Keep dancing one day at a time, one dance at a time in this life, and keep inspiring other people. I'm cheering for you. God is cheering for you. But most importantly, always remember your future clients are cheering for you. They desperately need you. So we cannot afford to let those people down. Stay safe. I wouldn't say stay warm because you're in a hot place. Stay cool. You're not in Canada, you're not in Alaska. So stay cool, stay fun, stay awesome. God bless, and talk to you very soon, my friend. Take care.
God
Cheers.
bless you. Thank you.
Yes, bye bye.